Right, welcome back to the next video in our precision baseball tutorial series. In this video, we're going to cover the pitcher-hitter interaction. Now, this is something that happens on every single play, and technically, this game is a 50-50 system. So you're either going to go off the batter card or off the pitcher card. There's no technical interaction between the two. But what I call this is a modified or a dynamic, adjusted, there are lots of different words you could use for it, 50-50 system. And so let's explain, what's going on. The key to the pitcher-hitter interactions are these numbers here. So for the pitcher, we have Freddie Garcia against the Oakland A's lineup. So against left-handed batters, Freddie Garcia is a +2. And against right-handed batters, he's a -3. For Mark Ellis, against left-handed pitching, he's a +2, and against right-handed pitching, he's a +3. Now, this number here is, we're going to compare these two numbers from, the appropriate number from each card. So first we look at the batter matchup, the handedness. So we have a right-handed batter against a right-handed pitcher. So we are going to look at Mark Ellis's right-handed versus right-handed pitching and Freddie Garcia's versus right-handed batting. Now, we assume the assumption of everyone is this is a true 50-50 system. And these adjustments, based on how strong one pitcher is against a batter, these adjustments are made, and then it kind of weights the 50-50 system. So you have to start out with the fact that we're going to roll a d20. So 1 through 10 is going to go to Mark Ellis, and 11 through 20 is going to go to Freddie Garcia. All things being equal, if we did not have these adjustments, it would be 1 to 10, 11 to 20, straight up 50-50 system. But we use these adjustments to try to determine, is the batter stronger than the pitcher, or is the pitcher stronger than the batter, or are they equal? So where we get these numbers for the batter, it's hits, home runs, strikeouts, and walks, and we are looking at the batter above average or below average. So we look at his individual stats against right-handed pitching and left-handed pitching in those areas, those categories, and then we combine those together to see how much above average is this batter or below average. So for a batter, being above average is good. So that's going to be plus numbers are good for batters. So for Ellis, he is +3. So he's, I don't know. I don't know what the percentages are, but he's above average in those categories versus right and left-handed pitching. For Garcia, against left-handed batting, he has a +2. And right-handed batting has a -3. So minus numbers are good for pitchers. Plus numbers are quote-unquote below average, even though it's technically above average. Being above average in things like FIP, having a higher than average FIP, higher than average or lower than average strikeouts, higher than average walks, higher than average home runs. And then I do hit by pitch as well. So if his hit by pitches are higher than average, that figures in as well. So based out of all those values together, he comes out below average, which for a pitcher, you want to be lower. And then against left-handers, he's not as good. So that's how you kind of get these weighted totals here. So when we look at right-handed pitching versus right-handed batting, we see that it's 3 and a -3. Now, what we do is first we're going to add these two numbers together, and we'll do a couple of examples here so you can see against different types of hitters. So we have 3 plus a -3, and those cancel each other out if you remember from grade school. So 3, and then you take away 3, you wind up with 0, right? So between these two players, our adjustment is going to be a 0. Now, and that tells me that they're about even strength. So that's kind of how you should read that. is these players are about even strength. Now we take that 0 and we add it to Mark Ellis's 10. Remember, he's a 1 to 10. So we add it to his 1 to 10, and 10 plus 0 obviously is 0. So because these two are even, it's going to be an even roll. So when we roll our d20, we have a 16, and that is going to go control to Freddie Garcia, because remember, he's 11 to 20. This time it's a 4. And so that time the control is going to go to Mark Ellis. And what this determines is that when we roll our 3d10 dice, that number is going to come off of Ellis's card in this instance. In the first instance, it was going to come off of Freddie Garcia's card. And then you begin to look at these numbers here in order to find the play result. So let's do another batter. So in steps Chris Singleton, and Chris Singleton is a left-handed batter going against a right-handed pitcher. So Garcia against lefties, remember, is a +2, and then Chris Singleton against right-handed pitching is a +1. So when we add those together, we get a +3, and then we can say 10 plus 3 is 13. So instead of Chris Singleton being a 1 to 10, he's a 1 to 13. To have the play result come off of his card. Now remember, what we're not trying to do, we're not trying to make sure that the person who wins this roll is going to have a better result. It could be that worse results come off of a batter card. It's not set up so that if it comes off the batter card, that's good for the batter. If it comes off a pitcher card, that's good for the pitcher. All we're trying to do is to precisely determine whose numbers to use, basically. And we do that by saying, okay, if this is a strong pitcher against a weak batter, he should have an advantage to come off of his strong card because he's just a better player. But in essence, it's more fair than a 50-50 game where you're like, well, that batter, I guess he could have the advantage half the time, but probably not against a Roger Clemens or Greg Maddux. So most of the time for those powerful pitchers, the play should come off of their card because they're going to have the advantage in almost every at-bat. Same thing for Barry Bonds. He's going to have the advantage in almost every at-bat. That's just reality, right? Against most pitchers, you're going to have to be a very powerful pitcher to rival and have equality with Barry Bonds. So that's what we're trying to do, is we're trying to just get the play to the right card based off of the strength between the pitcher and the batter. So for this one, he's a +3, so he's a 1 to 13, and then he'll be a 14 to 20 to come off his card. And we roll a 3, and so for Singleton, that'll come off his card. We rolled a 16, and remember, he's 1 to 13, so 14 to 20. So not too many opportunities here. Only, what is that? About a 30% chance for it to be off of Garcia's card, and then he rolls a 16, which lands on his card. So once that happens, he would look in the left-handed column for the play result because he's facing a left-hander. Let's do one more. And you start to get the hang of this. I mean, it's just basic math, right? You start to look and you find out, that you have a right-handed pitcher, so you're really just figuring this out against right or left-handers. So left-handed batter, he's going to be a +6, so Eric Chavez is as good as you can be against right-handed batting or pitching. And Freddie Garcia against left-handers is a +2. And so you can see here that 6 + 2 is 8. And Eric Chavez as a batter who has the best possible number against right-handed pitching, and Freddie Garcia with a very low number. It's high, but it's low against left-handed batting. means that Eric Chavez is almost guaranteed to have the play come off his card. So he is a 1 to 18 for control of the at-bat. And so that's a 2. That would come off of Chavez. We rolled again, a 7 comes off of Chavez's card. Even a 15 is going to come off of Chavez's card. So he's almost guaranteed to control this at-bat. And when we say control the at-bat, we just mean that the play result is going to come off of his card. And against right-handed batters, he bats .312, 387 on base, 567 slugging, and 954 OPS. So that means that those numbers are going to be the percentages we're sort of weighted to. And so more than likely, Eric Chavez against a right-handed pitcher is going to do very well. Unless that right-handed pitcher is excellent against left-handed batters, which there are the occasional pitcher that do have kind of reverse splits like that. So it feels a little bit like a laborious process, but as you get into it and do it more and more, after a couple of innings, you'll probably have it down pat, and it'll become, sort of second nature to be able to do this each time and on the fly. All right, so that covers the pitcher-hitter interaction, and in the next video, we'll go over the play result roll.